Bloody typical. Football Manager are running a competition through FMFC to win tickets to the Champions League final. All you need to do is win the Champions League on FM24, which I haven't done yet, and we are currently in the middle of redecorating and my PC is all packed up. But hang on a minute, it says on any version of FM24, including mobile. So, even though we're relegated to a corner of the kitchen, let's go for it. I need a team that will give me the chance to win it as quickly as possible in a single season by the competition deadline of May the 10th. I considered PSG and France, but ultimately opted for Bayern Munich. An Englishman going to Bayern in search of Champions League glory? That sounds familiar for some reason.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
Oh yeah, Harry Kane. But joking aside, this team is stacked. Manuel Neuer, once he's fit of course. Thomas Müller, once he's fit of course. Jamal Musiala in attacking midfield, Kimmich in everywhere, Leroy Sané as well, elite winger, Sergej Gnabry out wide, Goretzka who can play just about anywhere. And the defence is lit too. In fact, you could say, lit. And we've got Kim Min-jae, we've got Pavlovic, Alphonso Davies. Actually, we've got both of them, haven't we? We've even got Eric Dyer. What could go wrong? My first bit of business ended up being a transfer as we bring in Diogo Costa in goal. Second bit of business, the German Super Cup. And we were off to a great start, a penalty on 13 minutes. Kane scoring on his debut.
That's gotta be Kane!
Early in the second half, we would go 2 up from this Goretzka free kick. Unfortunately, Goretzka would soon be taken off injured, but not to worry as Kane would wrap up the win with 10 minutes to go, and then complete a debut hat-trick in the 87th minute. Our Bundesliga campaign kicked off a few days later away to Werder Bremen. We thought we had the lead in the first half, but a VAR check ruled out Limer's goal for a foul. Fit again Thomas Müller was soon not fit again and was replaced by fit again Goretzka. But we found Werder tough to break down in the second half, and a dull 0-0 was how it would finish. Our first win would come the following week at home to Augsburg, and was followed by a Harry Kane-inspired victory over Borussia Mönchengladbach. Real life caught up with us in the next game though, at home to Bayer Leverkusen. But it is the Champions League we are here for. As one of the top seeds, we were drawn in Group H, and we would end up with the Group of Death, as Man United joined us, along with the toughest team in Pot 3, AC Milan. Celtic would complete the group. That's 4 teams that have all won this prestigious competition in the past. Oh, this is going to be a tough one. We would start by hosting Celtic under the Champions League lights and with the FM mobile version of the official licensing. It took just over 10 minutes for Goretzka to give us the lead, and having missed a couple of good chances, we would eventually double our lead in stoppage time thanks to Musiala. There were no goals in the second half, though Kane did go close as we ran out 2-0 winners. Next up, we earned a hard-fought win at Old Trafford with a Kane penalty, which put us in control of the group ahead of a double-header with AC Milan. We were favourites for the home tie, but despite chances early and late in the game, this clash of European giants finished in a disappointing goalless draw. Terrible news a couple of days after the game as Goretzka was injured in training, 6 months out with a damaged spine. Meanwhile, in the league, we had recovered from a small early season wobble with 2 points from 3 games to win 3 on the bounce and make progress in the cup as well. But even though the league is not our focus, we will have to improve to meet expectations, which are, of course, to win the whole thing. And with Dortmund and AC Milan away in our next 2 games, the pressure was on. We were the better of the 2 sides in the first half against Dortmund, but this Kimmich strike was the closest we got to a goal. I had taken Kane off, and that turned out to be a stroke of tactical genius as Müller gave us the lead, and then added a second in stoppage time, for a massive, massive win that got the media singing our praises. A few days later we found ourselves in the San Siro, Müller and Kane starting this time, and it was Kane who would open the scoring, another penalty after a foul by Fiacco Tomori. We were under pressure for much of the remainder of the half, eventually conceding an equaliser from Loftus-Cheek in injury time. The second half was quiet until a frantic final few moments which we just about survived to take the point. Still top them with 2 to play, but that could all change very easily. But we produced when it mattered, beating Celtic in our next game and securing qualification for the round of 16. That meant our final game with Man United was all about securing top spot. A point would do it. But why not go for all three? Certainly that was what Harry Kane was thinking. Our resolve would be tested in the second half as Fernandes equalised. Stoppage time against Man United is the thing of Bayern nightmares, of course, but we held on for the point despite a less than stellar performance. We secured top spot, but ultimately doomed Man United to the Europa League.
No way! Absolute joke!
Sorry about that. We were, of course, seeded for the round of 16 draw, and I immediately noticed that Man City weren't. And as all the sides we would much rather play were picked out in the draw, I just got that sinking feeling that, yeah, sure enough, defending champions Man City it is. So after the group of death, we get the toughest tie in the round of 16. So for now, let's go and take a look at the league, where we had been on an unbeaten run despite juggling League, Cup and Champions League fixtures. Particular highlights were the wins away to Frankfurt and home to Stuttgart, which helped us rise to second in the table. But look how tight it is, just 5 points covering the top four as we head into the winter break. January exposed a lack of depth in defence as Min-jae was called up to the Asian Cup, while Bounissar and Mazraoui were away at AFCON. We needed a couple of backup players in defence, so went out and signed Paraguayan centre-back Gomez, as well as Ivorian defender Evan Ndika. While those negotiations were going on, we had a successful start to the new year, racking up some big wins in the league. We also played in the DFB Pokal quarter-final, facing the only non-Bundesliga team left in the competition, Arminia Bielefeld. Then we almost suffered a massive shock as we had to fight back from 2 goals down to get the win. There would be no chance for any kind of slip-up in the next few weeks, though, as we would face Bayer Leverkusen and RB Leipzig in the league and Man City in Europe. Back from AFCON, Ndika would make his debut against Bayer. He contributed with some tough tackling, but we were lacking sparkle up front, resulting in a dull 0-0 final score. And a strange moment for Harry Kane to laud my role in getting him into great form.
Yeah, no, it's important, you know.
Not the best form then going into our visit to the Etihad. Man City were predictably all over us in the first half, and we did well to get to the break at 0-0. And then the moment we feared as KDB gave City the lead. But it was ruled out by VAR. De Ligt then had to go off as we strived to avoid defeat. And in the 70th minute, Sane had to limp off as well. We rode our luck a little at times, but just about held on for a draw. Luckily, Sane only had a bruised rib, but would be missing for our first versus second clash with Leipzig. It looked like Kane had got us off to a cracking start in that one, but it was offside. Gnabry added to our injury list halfway through the half, before Kane managed to score again, but got ruled out again. It took a 40th minute strike from Musiala for us to finally take the lead. And just before the hour mark, Kane finally got a goal that was not disallowed. But celebrations were cut short as he picked up an injury as well. We would see out the match with the 2-0 scoreline intact, and then got the news that Kane would be out for a month. Nice to see, though, that he is concerned how well we will do without him. At least we have a 4-point lead in the Bundesliga now. It was 5, but our unbeaten run came to an end at Freiburg of all places. So no Kane, and coming off a recent defeat in the league as we took on Man City for the second leg. Our best chances came from set plays, Kimmich going close with this free kick. And then we won a penalty late in the half. There was a suggestion that Kimmich shouldn't take it, but I overruled, and a good thing that I did. City came at us in the second half, Haaland hitting the post, but we kept the pressure on as well. Another free kick, nearly sealing it. And then, with injury time all used up, Foden bagged an equaliser. 90 plus 5 when 4 minutes only were added on. And Man City fans say all the big decisions go against them. In extra time, we thought we had it when Coman scored off Kimmich's free kick, but it was ruled out by VAR. And we went to penalties. Doku got us off to a great start, followed up by Kimmich. Both sides then scored their next 2 until Kovacic missed. Muller had the chance to seal it, but blew it. Thankfully, so did John Stones. So we scraped through, though I think calling it a giant killing was a bit of a stretch. Anyway, the quarter-final draw paired us with familiar foes from the group stage, AC Milan. Back to the league and back to earth with a bump as we lost to Darmstadt, but bounced back with a win over Dortmund. And the news that Harry Kane was fit again. As was Goretzka, the spine of our team has returned.
Pistol Chris biggest joke I've ever heard.
Both Goretzka and Kane scored on their return to first-team action at Heidenheim. A perfect warm-up for AC Milan. But much like the group stage games, the first half was a dull affair with both teams cancelling each other out. That was the way the second half was heading too, until Gnabry headed home a corner to give us the lead. A free kick given away in a silly position had us worried late on, but Costa was equal to it, and we took a slender lead into the second leg at the San Siro. But it wouldn't last long as Musa scored from a corner, but Milan being back in the tie wouldn't last long either, as we won a penalty and Kane confidently converted. It was then a matter of holding firm, which we did until a late free kick led to a De Ligt goal as we marched into the semis, in which we would return to the San Siro to play Inter. First, a semi-final of another kind as we beat Frankfurt in the DFB Pokal, setting up a final with rivals Dortmund. But although we are on track to win the league and have met expectations with the Cup and the Champions League, and in real life the decorating was finally done and the PC was back in place, I think that just like good old Cody Rhodes,
I have to finish the story.
Another win over Frankfurt came in the league before a crucial run of games as we would play Inter twice with the chance to secure the Bundesliga title at Stuttgart in between. So we start with our third trip to the San Siro this season. I took a risk by resting Kane for this one, but he would be called into action after a quarter of an hour anyway, as his replacement Tell was taken off injured. Better him than Kane though, eh? And that was about all that happened in yet another classic European semi-final. So Stuttgart next, and a chance to wrap up the Bundesliga title. Musiala got the party started in the 4th minute, but an Alphonso Davies error led to a potential party-pooping equaliser. We survived a late scare to get the point, and ultimately that was enough as Leipzig lost the next day and we were 7 points clear with 2 games to go. A great confidence boost right before the second leg with Inter. We were favourites, but with legs tiring as we approached the end of a tough season, we would need a monumental effort. Inter came with a game plan, set pieces, whether they came from diving to con the referee or peppering Costa's 6-yard box with corners. We definitely felt more than fortunate to be heading into the half-time break still at 0-0. We brought on Müller and Davis as we sought to break the deadlock, but to no avail. Even the late arrival of Sane on for Gnabry couldn't prevent extra time. Another substitution was forced on us as Musiala picked up a knock and Lima came on. Half-time and extra time, and we made a big call, taking off the underperforming Kimmich for Pavlovic. And just as everyone was gearing up for penalties, a Müller corner,
for every side of you, there's a corner,
had to do it, led to an own goal from Çalhanoğlu. Disaster for him, but glory for us. We had made it to the final. We now had 4 games to go in this season, 2 dead rubber league matches and 2 finals. We beat Wolfsburg easily and scraped a final day draw at Hoffenheim to finish 7 points clear at the top, ahead of Dortmund, who we would face the following week in the DFB Pokal final. Once Leroy Sané had reminded me to do a team talk, I fired everyone up. Well, except for Kingsley Coman for some reason. It was Coman who would have a great chance to open the scoring on 22 minutes, but it wasn't to be. After Kane was fouled, Coman had another great chance off Kimmich's free kick, and we would soon rue those missed chances as a VAR check led to a penalty ward against us for handball. Emre Can just doesn't miss those. We were behind for all of 5 minutes though as Coman supplied the ball to Goretzka, and a few minutes after that we were in front, Kane breaking through in first half stoppage time. Despite our lead and Coman's contributions, the Frenchman still looked despondent at half time, and I eventually took him off for Gnabry. But not even a sulky Frenchman could stop us today as Kane powered through in stoppage time to make sure of the win. And the domestic double. I am apparently running out of room on my trophy shelf. But I think I can manage one more. The Champions League. We would have to overcome Barcelona at Wembley to do it. With a full-strength side, full of confidence. And all the big match hype FM Mobile can muster. Kimmich went close several times in the first half, a free kick and 2 attempts from outside the area, all threatening to go in. Despite no goals by the break, we were still up for it. On the hour mark, Kane had a great chance but was denied by Ter Stegen. With 20 minutes to go, we made a double substitution, a chance for Müller to roll back the years and a chance for Coman to redeem himself. But yet again, we completed 90 minutes of Champions League football with a 0-0 scoreline. Kimmich was having a mare, so he came off. Kane had a great chance early in the second extra time period, but it would ultimately be Goretzka who became the hero, scoring right at the death. as we won the Champions League, completing the treble and the challenge, and me getting recognised as one of the best there is in just my first season. And that is where we're going to leave it. I hope you've enjoyed this one-season FM Mobile Challenge, and I hope I'm going to win those Champions League final tickets. Leave a like and check out some more of my challenges here.